Welcome to section 3, where we're going to cover the financial aid process. Now that we've already covered finding the right fit for you and the recruiting and admissions process, the next obvious thing to cover is financial aid. And so I'm going to pull up a document so that you can take a look at my screen. This chart we've got right here is going to help you to understand what type of aid is available depending on what kind of college we're at. So we have the type of college here. We've got Division One, Ivy League, which is Division One, the little Ivies, Lafayette, Bucknell, Colgate. We've got Division Two, we've got Division Three, we've got all NESCAC schools. The NESCAC is just a conference in Division Three of mostly schools in the Northeast that are very high academic schools, very similar to the Ivy League. They're all considered little Ivies. And then additional D3 little Ivies, because some of the D3 little Ivies are not in the NESCAC. So these are the additional little Ivies that are not in the NESCAC: Swarthmore, Union, Vassar, and Haverford. So in this column, we're checking to see, okay, do they have athletic scholarship? Division One, yes, it has athletic scholarship. But the Ivy League is in the Division One, and it's the only conference that does not have athletic scholarship. So no. D1 Little Ivies, yes, they have athletic scholarship. Division Two, yes, it has athletic scholarship. However, it's typically going to be less than you're going to find at Division One. There will be fewer opportunities for full scholarships at the Division Two level than there are at the Division One level. That doesn't mean that you can't get a full ride at a D2 school, especially because they will often work to help you combine merit scholarships, which are academic-based merit scholarships, along with your athletic scholarships to make it a full ride. Then in Division Three, there are no athletic scholarships, okay? And the NESCAC and the Little Ivies, they're all Division Three, so none of them have athletic scholarships. And one of the reasons behind this is that these schools have a major focus on academics, and they've determined that varsity athletics are not going to be as important and as time consuming and as competitive as the Division One or Division Two levels. So in this column, we've got academic scholarships, which are also called merit-based. Division One, yes, they have academic scholarships. The Ivy League, however, does not have academic scholarships. They're the only conference in Division One that does not have any academic scholarships. D1 Little Ivies, yes, they have academic scholarship. Division Two, yes, it offers academic scholarship. Division Three, yes, they offer academic scholarships. However, not all Division Three schools. So the NESCAC schools, yes, many have academic scholarships, but some only have need-based aid. So some of the really high ranking Division Three colleges are going to operate more similarly to the Ivy League, where they won't have any athletic scholarship along with all the other Division Three schools, and they also may not have any merit-based scholarship or academic scholarship. And then the additional D3 Little Ivies, some of them have merit-based scholarship. I believe Swarthmore has some merit-based scholarship, but a Vassar has no merit-based scholarships. Vassar operates just like the Ivy League when it comes to that. Now, need-based financial aid, Division One, yes, it offers it. Ivy League, yes, has need-based financial aid. And the Little Ivies, yes, they have need-based financial aid as well. So what the Ivy League has that most other universities do not have is very strong need-based financial aid. So the only way that you're going to get any financial aid to go to the Ivy League is if your family needs that aid based on how those Ivy Leagues determine if your family needs that aid. Typically, I had student athletes on my team who were attending Brown and not paying anything. Okay? So the need-based aid can cover complete tuition and fees and travel. And so really need-based financial aid can be just as good as a full scholarship at another university if the university determines that your family needs that aid, that that student needs that aid in order to attend. The way that you figure out if you need that aid, we're going to go through that a little bit further down in this section. Then you've got Division Two, yes, it has need-based financial aid. Division Three, yes, they have need-based financial aid. And the NESCAC and all the little Ivies do offer need-based financial aid. All this talk about financial aid and who has it, who doesn't, academic aid, athletic scholarships brings us to the first pro tip of section 3 here. And that's to use our included template that will help you to categorize the schools that you're looking at based on what aid they offer. And so everybody's going to have a different list of schools, and it's going to be important for you to understand what schools offer what aid. And then you can use that information that you have in conversations with the coach of that school to talk about what are all the options for aid and how can you get your cost of attendance as low as possible. If you don't even know what's available, then you're just flying blind. So you can use our included template to keep things organized so that you can have a handle on your financial aid, athletic aid, and academic aid situation. So for the purpose of this course, we're not going to go into great depth covering athletic aid or academic aid because a lot of the top academic institutions don't offer those. So the Ivy League doesn't offer either of those, and neither do many of the little Ivies. But within this course, we're going to go into great depth on need-based financial aid. And the first thing that you need to know is how much do you qualify for, or do you qualify for any? And the best place to start looking to find that answer would be online financial aid calculators. If you go to the website of any university and you click on a tab that says financial aid, or you just Google the name of the university and financial aid, it's going to bring you to a place where you can find a financial aid calculator. Now, each calculator might be a little bit different. Some might be very simple and some might be more in depth. And part of the reason for that is some schools have a much simpler way of calculating financial aid. There's no standardized way to calculate financial aid, but you are going to be asked to put in a bunch of information, including tax information, income information. And so you may need your parents or whoever handles the finances in your home to help you determine how much financial aid you're going to be eligible for. Because your financial aid that you're eligible for as a student athlete is not going to be only based on your income. It's going to be based on your income and your parents' income. And I keep saying income, but also in some colleges, they will calculate based on certain assets as well. So if you own a home, they may base some financial aid on those kind of things too, assets that you own, not just income. The only way that I understand that you would be able to get a financial aid read that is based only on the student's income would be is if you were to emancipate yourself from your parents, which is a very challenging situation. Some people actually do emancipate themselves from their parents, but that's a very specific situation that most students are not going to find themselves in. And so almost no matter what you do, short of emancipating yourself from your parents, your financial aid read will be based on your parents' income and assets as well. And even if your parents are split up, so if your parents are divorced and you only live with one parent, most schools, the financial aid read is going to be based on both parents' income and assets. So even if one parent doesn't want to give any information, that's going to end up being a bit of a struggle for you because every school is going to expect that both your parents are going to contribute. And that's really unfair. And I recognize that's super unfair because a lot of you might have parents that are not going to contribute any money towards your college. And that could make a serious additional burden on you and the parent who might be interested. If one parent is not going to help and the other parent is going to help, that might make a really significant burden on you and the parent who's going to help because the financial aid read is going to be based on both the income and assets of both parents. But if one of the parents isn't sharing that load, then you could have a really significant financial burden to bear. So, again, these are things to keep in mind. It is possible, I can tell you in my experience, that I have seen scenarios where one parent is not willing to pay, and eventually through tons and tons of communication and evidence that shows that that one parent is not involved financially in the student's life, that it is possible to remove one parent from the financial aid read, but that's a challenge and it will take a lot of work. Typically, schools will send out a read based on both parents' income and assets. I think this is a great point in this financial aid conversation to step back and let you know as the student athlete that going to one of these elite academic institutions is not the be all end all. And while they are amazing academic experiences and oftentimes amazing athletic experiences as well. If you are in the scenario where maybe neither of your parents are willing to help you with college, but they're going to be involved in your financial aid read. So if your parents do pretty well, but they're not going to help you pay for college, then your only option might be to take on really significant student loan debt. And I want to just go ahead and make a public service announcement that the way that you think about this college process, if you are in that situation, or if you're in a situation where you have two parents, one of them is willing to help and the other one is not willing to help, if it's going to be a really significant financial burden on you and the parent that's willing to help, it will be important at this point to be considering some other schools that work better for you in terms of cost, because a lot of these elite academic institutions are incredibly expensive if you're not going to be getting significant amounts of financial aid. And so I just don't want anybody to be thinking, I have to go to one of these schools or else I'm so far behind. So really, one of the parts of finding the right fit is finding a school with a price tag that will work for you. I'm not saying don't go through the process with these coaches and try to find out if athletic or academic scholarship is available. You may be able to lower your price quite a bit and make it something that can work. Or maybe your need-based financial aid is going to be really strong. But once you check out those three categories, athletic, academic, and need-based, if the price is still really high and something that stresses you and anyone who's helping you deal with college, if that's really stressing you out, it may not be worth it, especially if you can find another university that's going to be a lot cheaper. Because if you can come out of school with as little student debt as possible, that can be a really kind of incredible superpower that allows you to pursue things that you're more interested in instead of needing to pursue like the money right off the bat to help pay off your student loan. When it comes to filling out one of these financial aid estimators or financial aid calculators on a university's website, here are some of the things that you might need to have to fill it out and have it be very accurate. You should probably have the student and the parent income tax returns, the earning statements, so W-2 forms, recent paycheck stubs, bank and investments account statements, and records of untaxed income, Social Security, contributions to a 401k, or a tax deferred pension, etc. If you have all those things and you input all the information as they ask for, usually these financial aid calculators are going to be very accurate in telling you what you will be eligible for in terms of financial aid. We've gone ahead and compiled links to each one of the financial aid calculators in the Ivy League. So you can just take a look here and click on the link and it'll bring you right to the financial aid calculator.